Right, so we're starting off laying down, and that can mean any comfortable position on your back. Okay, close your eyes and take a time to fidget yourself into place. Begin to deepen your breath. Allow your shoulders to fall open and your hips to get very soft. I like to put a little bend in the knees here, knocking them toward each other, allowing the low back to release toward the floor a little bit. And then maybe if you've been working at a computer a lot today, you're feeling some constriction in your chest, you might put a little bend in your elbows, okay, flapping your palms up on either side. And that might allow you to tuck your shoulder blades a little further underneath you. And breathe more deeply into your big chest. So find everything just fidgeting into place until you can enjoy stillness and give yourself a little transition time to move away from that day-to-day mode where we're producing and we're doing and we're responsible and we have roles. But right now in this moment, you have permission to just be. Allow the breath to be really big. The inhales fill all the maximum lung space. And the exhales clean your lungs out completely. As you focus your awareness on just deepening your breath right now, let your muscles let go. Your jaw, see if you can hang your jaw open. All right, notice the sound of your breath in your ears. Perhaps it makes a roaring sound. I think it sounds like waves or wind. Cultivate that roar as you breathe through your nose. Notice the sensation of your rib cage filling and spreading wide with the inhale. You might also notice your belly kind of puffing open. I like to call it the Buddha belly. So just embrace the Buddha belly. Breathe, big belly inhales. And with your exhales, contract all of that tissue. Pull the belly button in towards your spine. Compress the rib cage. Clean out your lungs. So we're working with this maximum breath. And there's so much happening when we do this. We have a really great massage going for your whole torso. So all the tissues that wrap around your torso are getting a massage from within. The tissues on the inside of your abdominal cavity, so all your organs are getting massaged and toned and detoxified. And your central nervous system is getting this message to slow down, to stop producing cortisol, and just be present. Now that you've brought a lot of attention and awareness to your breath and also to your body, let's notice the mind for a little while. Stay in that place of observation, the same way that you observe the breath as something separate and you observe the body as something apart. Okay, observe your mind. Notice how it reaches into the past and the future. But also notice how you don't necessarily need to get taken for a ride by each thought. You can just observe. And you have the luxury of saying to yourself, that is a thought, and going back to your observations. So could you keep this long, deep breath and this awareness on observing what's going on with compassion and amusement as we start to move a little bit. So let's start with some very gentle hip movement. Okay, I call it windshield wipers. So bending your knees, slide your feet up close to the level of where your hips are. And then take the feet away from each other. So shimmy them out away. We'll start to drop the knees side to side. Okay, and this can be really passive at first. It doesn't need to be super strong. You can think of gravity just pulling the knees down. Okay, so what's happening here in your hips is we have some really nice internal and then external rotation. So we're opening up inner and outer hip, warming it. Also, the lower back is getting a really nice internal, a really nice rotation. So a really nice massage for your low back. And we can activate this a little more if we choose by bending the elbows. So make a W or a goalpost shape on the floor with your arms. And press down through your upper body. So almost like you're trying to push yourself up off the floor. Resist the floor with your whole wingspan. And now that your hips are a little bit warmer, perhaps this would inspire you to activate your knees downward a little bit more as they fall. Maybe put a little bit more downward strength. Okay, and this will deepen that hip opening. So you're in control here. Okay, so next time your legs come back through center, let's pause and we'll get a little bit more deeply into that twist. So bring your feet up off the ground, knees are bent, put your legs together. Just glue them right toward each other. Keep that nice bent leg shape. Keep your strong W-shaped arms pressing down and just hover your legs to one side. Keep them off the floor, just a little hover. And then look away from your knees. Let's bring the legs through center. Remember to keep breathing, okay? Drop your legs to the other side. And again, look away from them. Hover the legs. Let's bring it back to center. So we'll go like this, side to side, a few more times. Just keep breathing. I like to inhale through center and exhale to drop the legs. So now we've turned this twist into a full spinal twist. We have the whole spine, including your cervical spine, including your neck. It's all rotating and wringing out, quite literally. So it should feel nice. If it doesn't, just reduce your range of motion. Right, so next time your knees drop to the right, go ahead and let them fall all the way to the ground. Okay, and then take your left hand and reach out to the right. So now you're turned completely facing out to the right. And I want to get into what I like to call a sandwich shape. So think of stacking your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your hands, okay, right on top of left. So that you're very neatly lined up here. And one thing, before we start to move, we need to make sure that this right side is a little bit lifted up off the floor. So you might notice it's a little tempting to kind of collapse your right side toward the floor so that your right side touches. Do your best to create a little space there, a little lift. Why? Your spine is longer and more neutral this way, and that will give us the best, most effective twisting, because we are indeed about to twist. So drop these left fingers on the floor just above your right hand. Okay, and using your left fingers with a long left arm on the floor, trace a half circle over your head. So you're opening, kind of winding yourself open. Eventually you're reaching all the way to the left, and you'll pause and go back the way you came, tracing the half circle all the way over to the right. So let's do that a few more times. Think of inhaling to open it up. Draw that circle, look to the left, open it wide with your chest, and exhale to bring it back around. Okay. I like to do this with eyes closed. Just feel the length in your spine and the spaciousness in your chest. And I think it helps here to use the right arm to gently resist the floor, giving you a much broader chest to breathe into. So let's do this maybe 2 more times, okay? Okay, nice and slow, and feel free to find your own pace with it. But next time you open up and you're looking out to the left, your chest is nice and big, your arms are spread wide, let's hold right here and just breathe. Okay, resist the floor a little bit with your arms so your wingspan presses down. Just like we did when we were laying down at the beginning of this practice, breathe deeply into your chest and your belly. And then maybe even cultivate the feeling almost of a back bend. As your shoulder blades press down, could you lift your rib cage 1 centimeter more off the floor? Okay, let's enjoy one more big breath here. And let's bring this through center. So come on back to center. We're just going to do the other side now. Drop your knees to the left. Reach your right arm over to the left as well and build yourself into a left-facing sandwich shape. And we'll do the same thing. So this time the right fingers will draw a half circle over your head. Okay, remember to keep that left side lifting up off the floor. So you have a little space under there. And with your exhales, you bring it back around. Let's do that a few more times. Inhaling, open it up. And exhaling, close it up. So remember to use your wingspan to resist the floor a little bit. Okay, feeling that you're almost cultivating a little bit of a back bend here, lifting that rib cage. Okay, next time you're opened up into this twist, let's hold right there and just enjoy it. So see if you could get your shoulder blades on the floor, looking out to the right. Nice, big, long breath. Thinking of your big chest and your strong belly. All right, maybe one more really nice long breath in here. As you are ready, rock your legs back into center. Okay, take your arms up overhead here. So reaching out behind you. Okay, I want to do some bridge poses with you, but I think it's nice to reach out here and get a little bit of an upper back massage. So you can always put a little bend in your elbows here. But we're gonna make a long neck and then bring your feet right close to your hips, about hip width. And then put a little engagement between your knees. So there's still a space between your knees, but you're imagining that you're holding a tennis ball between them. So you don't want to widen your knees and drop your tennis ball. So keep that inward engagement. Notice how that feels in your core. Should feel nice and strong and engaged. So keep that, please. As you inhale and lift your hips up. Okay, when all that weight goes onto your upper back, keep your nose pointed up. This should feel nice on your shoulder blades. And we're going to exhale to bring the hips down. And let's do that a few more times. Okay, inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. Keep breathing, keep moving, okay? So notice a few things just as you're moving. Check this out in your mind's eye. You can keep your eyes closed. Moving at your own pace, could you start to really cultivate a very snaky, rolling up and down movement in your spine? Like you're picking one vertebra at a time up and placing one at a time back down. Really strong in your core, keeping your tennis ball, of course, between your knees. Okay, also, if you keep your nose pointed straight up as you move, it'll keep your cervical spine softly arching up off the floor. And that will be the best neutral cervical spine for our purposes right now. Okay, so I have a little challenge for you. Next time you come up, hold right there. So it's gonna be some strength. You're gonna feel your glutes and your hamstrings get warm. Pull those knees toward each other. Okay, you might be happy here with your arms. You might wanna do robot arms. Okay, you can bring your elbows down by your side, pointing your fingers up. And this is nice because you can kind of push down into the floor with your elbows, okay? Alternatively, you might enjoy joining your hands underneath your hips. You can interlace your fingers. And then you can see about maybe scooching your shoulder blades underneath your heart and pressing down on the floor, getting a big opening across your chest. Keep breathing. So no matter where you are, you're feeling your lower body get really warm. One more big breath in right here. Let's see if we can roll it down as slowly as possible, one vertebra at a time. So calm down, slow roll down, no rush. Okay, when your tailbone finally uncurls back to the floor, tuck your hands behind your knees. And let's give a few kind of playful rocks and rolls up. See if you could rock up and balance on your seat. You can use your toes on the floor if you need to, and then roll it down. Okay, should feel good on your back. Rock it up and roll it down. Again, rock it up and roll it down. Okay, we'll do it one more and then we'll stay right there. So rock it on up, hold right there and just breathe. So you need to put your toes down, go ahead and do it. Okay, no matter what, you have a long spine, belly button in towards your spine. Okay, feeling a little bit of warmth building in your core here in your boat pose, Navasana. For your last breath here, if you want a little extra challenge, a little extra spice, you can reach your hands for your feet, and you can reach your feet for the ceiling. And then as you're ready to come down out of that, all feet down, come on down. So I'm going to have you lengthen your legs here. You can give them a little shake out. Okay, after the bridges, you should feel the whole back line of your leg nice and warm. And let's bring the right foot in, and you can just step it on the inside of your left thigh. So the right foot is in, the left leg is long. And fingertips down beside you, push the floor down a little bit. Make your spine extremely long. Okay, and even though you may not be using 100% of your strength to do this, put a little bit of strength into your legs, pressing downward into the floor. So the left leg is active, the front of the left leg, the back of the left leg, you're pushing down. Okay. All right, from here, we're going to take both sets of fingers on either side of the left leg. Taking a really big breath in, lengthen your spine. Okay, and then you don't have to fold all the way down, but with your exhale, just move your heart towards your left big toe. Just see what happens. And pause when you feel like your spine is starting to round. Let's do it again. Inhale, lengthen that spine, push down into your legs. And exhale, move that heart toward the left big toe. Pause when you're rounding. Again, inhale, bring it up. And exhale, one more time, fold forward. Now let's hold right here. So, options. You can just stay right here with your hands under your shoulders, keeping your longest spine, resisting the floor with all your legs. If everything's feeling pretty good, you can come down to your elbows. Same thing though, you have your long spine. You're focused on getting your heart toward that toe. If you can keep a long neck and your shoulders aren't squinching up by your ears, you can even drop your forehead, but try to keep a really long neck, okay? Like you really wanted to keep the giraffe neck. Let's take 5 or 6 long, slow breaths wherever you are. Remember to keep your left quadriceps engaged, so trying to move your left kneecap up towards your left hip and press down into both legs against the floor. Feel your low back release along the left and right of the low back. Release along the back of your left leg as well. Okay, enjoy your last breath here. And then start to roll yourself up. Take your time walking yourself back up. Okay, so I want to switch this into kind of a half straddle. So take your left leg and take it further over out to the left. Tuck your right foot closer in, more towards your hips, okay? And think of pointing your right knee out to the right. So I like to think of this as a half straddle, okay? Your legs are pointing out away, but you've just bent the right knee. So just make it nice and comfortable. You can always bend the right knee less or take the legs closer together, kind of back where we were before. But from here, get your left hand on your right hip and use it to really press the right hip down. So we're going to get more into the side of your body here. Reaching up with that right hand. Okay, take a big breath in and then exhale, reach it to the left. So same thing here. Just pause when you've reached far enough. But the tricky thing is try to keep that right hip on the floor. Let's do that again. Inhale to reach up long. And exhale, reach to the left. Ground that right hip. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in, bring it up. And exhale, bring it over to the left. Now let's pause here and see where we can go with this. So keep the right hip heavy. It's really tricky. It wants to come up, but do your best. You can rest here by dropping that left elbow onto your left thigh. This might be enough. You can even cactus open that right arm and think of bringing a lot of spaciousness across your chest here. So feel free to stay there with that, or deepen it by bringing that left elbow to the floor. You can press the elbow into your knee and peel the chest open a bit more. Or to really dive into this sensation, you can bring your hand back to that right hip, left hand to the right hip, and reach the right fingers for the left toes. Now they may reach today. There's really no prize if you do reach them, but ground the right hip wherever you are. Make a long spine wherever you are. And enjoy one more really long, luxurious breath. Take your time coming back up. You can use those right fingers to press yourself back up to a seat. Okay, let's switch sides. We're going to do that on the other side. So now we'll have the right leg out front being the long leg, and the left foot will come in and step on the inner right thigh. So we'll fold forward first. We need some activity in the legs to make this worth our while. So strengthen the right leg and press down through both legs. You're actively resisting the floor. Even just 5 to 10% of the strength that you're capable of can be really super effective. So don't feel like you have to blast it and push all your strength into your legs. Okay, long spine here. Big breath in. And with your exhale, heart toward that right big toe. Just see how close you can get before your spine rounds. Let's do it again. Inhale, bring it up. And exhale, fold forward. One more, please. Big breath in. And then we'll hold this one. So big exhale as you send that heart forward. Hold right here. So this is a lovely place to stay if you just want to focus on long spine, heart forward. You don't really have to go that far down for it to be an excellent lengthening for the back of your right leg. So feel free to really be gentle here. You can make it a little bit more deep by coming down to your elbows. Okay, but keep that right quad active, so the right kneecap's trying to move towards your hip. You can even drop that forehead, but you want your longest neck, okay? Breathe wherever you are. Close your eyes, dive in. Notice what you feel. Maybe you bring your awareness to your low back, wrapping all around the back of your hips, your sacrum. Maybe the right leg is getting a nice opening in the back. If you keep a really strong flex in that right foot, it'll help you out with opening the calf. Okay, if you get any calf tension during your week. So one last breath here. And start to press yourself back up and out of this. Okay, from this forward fold, let's transition to that side bend. So let's take the right leg further out to the right, more like a straddle kind of feel. And the left knee further out to the left with that left foot tucked right up by your hips, okay? Keep the legs active and strong. You can flex, point, or floint that right foot, just make it nice and active. And that right hand can grab the left hip and then push it down. Try to keep the thing down. Right or left arm up. Take a big breath in as you get long in your spine. And with your exhale, reach it to the right, okay? Keep the left hip down. Let's do it again. Inhale to bring it up. And exhale, reach it to the right. One more time and we'll hold there, okay? Come on up. And come on over. Drop it and hold right here. So you can rest that right elbow on your right thigh and just kind of hang out. Try maybe a cactus arm on the left, peeling open your chest. Okay, and you can stay here. You can move further if you like, dropping that right elbow to the inner right knee, pushing into it. Okay, is the left hip still on the floor? Okay, mine came up. I had to put it back down. Maybe you want to really dive into this. You take the right hand to the left hip and the left hand to the right toes. Okay, so wherever you are, hip down, long torso. And breathe. Notice if this side feels any different than the other. Chances are it does. One more big breath into that whole left side. Your low back should be feeling great about this. And then as you're ready, you can use your left fingers on the floor to press yourself back up. Come on up. And now both legs out in front of you. Go ahead and shake it out. So I'd like to finish off with a really nice deep forward fold. So you can have your feet right close together, but sometimes it's nice to have kind of a gentle forward fold with your feet maybe a little bit wider than hip width. So feel free to vary the width between your feet, okay? Either way, your legs are nice and long, strong legs, your spine is nice and long too. Keep in mind, if this is a really challenging posture and it's just not comfortable, you can really help out a lot by bending your knees, okay? It's the same posture. It's just gentler. So feel free to put a nice bend in your knees, okay? Either way, legs bent or extended, you're gonna have a long spine on your inhale. Okay, and with one very long exhale, start to roll your heart towards your toes. Now really flex your feet so your toes are going back for your heart. And just stay where your spine starts to round. And breathe right here. Bend those knees if you need to. Find strong legs. And then think about moving your kneecaps up towards your hips. See if that helps release your low back and your hamstrings at all. You can walk your hands out further if you like, coming down to your elbows. However, don't feel like you need to push in that direction. There's really no necessity to get the elbows down. And if everything's feeling pretty good, you might just take your forehead down to your shins. Strong flex in your feet, okay? Long neck, big breath. You'll take 5 or 6 long, slow breaths right here. Think of lengthening your belly, lengthening your spine with every breath. If you find your shoulders creeping up by your ears, move them away. Notice how your glutes feel about this. Let's take one more really long breath here before we roll out slowly. Okay, start to peel yourself back up out of this really nice deep forward fold. Okay, keep walking your hands behind you until you come all the way down to your back. And here we are in your final resting posture. So you can have long arms and legs in Shavasana or some other resting posture that suits you nicely. Okay, close your eyes and we'll begin to systematically release all control of everything on the mat. So when we started this practice, we began by harnessing the breath and intentionally lengthening it, intentionally deepening it. But now I want you to do the opposite. Let go of controlling your breath right here. Just let the natural flow of the breath return. And notice any differences between now and when you started this practice. Do the same with your body. Release all control over your muscles. Let your jaw hang open. Let your forehead be soft. And do the same with your thoughts. Release all control over your mind. Just observe. Notice if anything on your mat feels different than it did 45 minutes ago. And allow your awareness to continually return to this moment, the sensations of this moment. What do you hear? What do you feel? So ideally, you would rest here for at least 5 minutes, more if you can. And this is where I will leave you for our practice today. Thanks so much for joining me and for taking good care of yourself.